All right, it's time for a gear video. Everything I show you today is what I'm gonna take on my PCT Thru-Hike in 2023. Take this list with a grain of salt. I would say 90% of it's gonna stay the same, but there's a few items I'm on the fence about, but pretty much everything in here I've had a really good time with in the field, and I got more than enough miles to test it out to see what would this be like for 2,500 miles, going into this hike. All right, so let's get started. First, the big three. Z-Packs Duplex. I absolutely love this tent. It's super compactable. It's very, very light. I think it weighs 19 ounces. I bring all of my gear inside at night. The only thing I leave outside are my shoes. So this thing is awesome for keeping my camera equipment dry, all of my stuff dry. My only con about this tent is condensation, but the caveat I'll say to the condensation problem is that you can dry this thing out in about 10 to 15 minutes if you just let it sit out. So really, overall, this tent's expensive, but I'm going to definitely be taking it all 2,500 miles, and it's held up so far for around 800 miles. So this will be my tent. All right, guess what backpack I'm bringing? Yes, it's the Z-Packs Arc Haul 50 liter. It weighs 20 ounces. It's insanely comfortable. It doesn't let my back get sweaty. I have loved this bag. I've put about 700 miles on it this last season. And one thing I'll say is that it did wear down a little bit quicker than I expected it to, but part of that was user error. Carrying my camera on the wrong hip belt or letting items sway back and forth and dig into the material. So it's kind of on me, no fault of Z-Packs, kind of user error. But overall, this huge mesh pocket in the front, absolutely clutch. I keep everything that I need quick access to. My water filter, my rain cover, so my poncho, whatever I need to just get out really quickly, I just keep in this pocket here. I can get it off and on super fast and easily. And I think the number one thing about gear in the field and having a good time is how easy is it to use. This thing's super easy. I know exactly how it packs. This is what I'll be bringing on the PCT. One thing that I'll say is I won't be surprised if I have to switch it out due to wear and tear. I think it will make it the whole way, but we'll see. However, I plan on starting the hike with this same bag. This is a newer one. This is my first part of my sleep system. This is the Zen Bivy light bed. Now, the light bed collection comes with a mat, a top sheet, and a quilt. I only have the quilt and the top sheet. I'm gonna explain to you why I switched to a quilt. I know, typical, every ultralight wannabe like myself does this, but I'm gonna give very good reasoning as to why I did. With the Zen Bivy light bed, I believe this is a 25-degree quilt. I really don't see it keeping you warm if it's under 30, to be honest. I mean, you'll stay warm, you'll survive, but you won't be super comfortable. However, I was super hesitant to switch to a quilt because, like everybody else, I was scared about the draft. However, I'll tell you that this system is very unique. How this system actually works is you have the quilt right here. This is a massive quilt. You can see I didn't sew it up, but I strung up the foot box so I don't have any draft here. And then it clips down in the back. So it keeps it tight and you don't get a draft up until about my back of my knee, and I'm 6'3", so that's really awesome. It's super light, it only weighs about a pound, and it's super comfortable because it acts like a blanket, and I'm gonna show you why. When we get the top sheet over our sleeping pad, it just connects to the bottom through these holes. Then it creates like these hook and loop systems that I can hook the actual quilt to, and there's zero draft. But the quilt can be unhooked in certain portions, so it acts like a nice little cozy blanket when I'm sleeping. And then you're like, oh, well, what about your head? That's what's awesome about this system, is it has like a mummy bag head at the top. So my pillow stays really tucked in there nicely, and it's very, very warm on my head. No draft with this quilt, and I switched from the Nemo Disco 15. I really did love that sleeping bag because I'm a side sleeper and I roll around and I didn't get tangled up. but it ended up just being a little bit heavier than I'd like. It was almost 3 pounds, and it was kind of overkill. I never really found myself needing it and being that cold. So I switched to the Zen Bivy. I got this thing on a Memorial Day sale. I think it was like around 270 bucks. I'll link everything in the description below, but I have absolutely loved this sleep system. Last on the list is my sleeping pad for the big three. This is the Nemo Quasar 3D. While I advanced in my lightweight journey by switching to the quilt system that I just showed, I regressed on my sleeping pad, and I'm gonna explain why. The Nemo Quasar 3D is by far the most comfortable sleeping pad on the market. You cannot convince me otherwise. I've tried Thermarest, I've tried Nemo Tensors, I've tried Sea to Summit. This thing has this really unique cradle to it. So when you lie into it, one of my problems is, one, when I didn't have a wide pad, my arms laid on the side, and you all know how terrible that is. But two, I would kind of find myself on the edge of the Tensor, and the Tensor leaked on me twice. Granted, shout out to Nemo, I still love you. You replaced both of them with no questions asked, and I really, really appreciate that. And the Tensor was very light and, surprisingly, has a higher R value than the Quasar. But this thing is just so comfortable. It's like 4 inches thick. It's got this like bed feel, and when I combine it with the Zen Bivy light bed, I legitimately feel like I have a portable bed in the backcountry. I sleep so nice. I perform better on trail, so I will carry the extra weight. This thing is about 2 pounds, but you honestly will have a hard time finding a more comfortable sleeping pad. Not the most ideal thing for weight. It's not the most compactable either, but it's packed up fine in my bag. I've loved it. I will continue to use this on the PCT unless I just become a weight weenie and just really want to shed weight. Otherwise, I don't see myself changing this. It's up in the air. This is one of the things that I said I might change, but I'll just have to see. For now, I'm pretty stuck on this, and it's well worth it for the extra weight, for the better sleep. You know, I always carry around my mini little seat pad here. This is just from Amazon. It's very small. It weighs absolutely nothing, but it is the most incredible thing when you want to sit down and all you have is sharp rocks or just really uncomfortable shit to sit on. This thing is incredible. I will keep it. It also is kind of like a makeshift leveler when I'm sleeping. Maybe I don't find the most ideal tent site or camping site. I slide this under where I might be like unleveled, like I feel my body shifting to the right. I'll hoist it underneath there, and then I just kind of stay in place like I'm on level ground. So I've used this thing for a multitude of things. Even when my trekking pole broke on trail, on the last part of the Colorado Trail essentially, and I had to use my trekking pole because there weren't any really good sticks around, I used this to prop it up and get a proper pitch with my tent. So this thing has been a lifesaver for me. It's super durable, it's very cheap, and there's just no excuse why you really wouldn't carry this. It doesn't weigh anything, so makes sense for me. Something that kind of ties into my sleep system is this Hike Ensure ultralight pillow. It's about 5 ounces, it's super comfortable. It's from Amazon, surprisingly enough, and it's gone the distance. It's gone about 600, 700 miles. Haven't had any leaks, any problems. It has this like really soft cloth on it that I enjoy, and you can, like, you know, all inflatable pillows, but it has a really good system that you can deflate and inflate it to get the proper support with your head. So when I combine this with everything else I just showed, it ends up being very comfortable, and I will never take a pillow out of my pack. It just doesn't make sense to me. For the weight and for the comfortability that it brings on trail, it's a no-brainer for me. How am I gonna carry my food? Well, same way I always have, the Ursack. I think this is the 15 liter. I love this thing. I tie it to a tree at night. It's got a smell-proof bag inside that I put all my items in. I don't have to worry about critters maybe smelling my food or getting into my food. It's pretty much rodent-proof. It's like a Kevlar weave. You can actually watch a video of grizzly bears trying to rip this thing off a tree, and they cannot get through it. So no brown bears on the PCT that I'm aware of, unless they've migrated over. and I think this will do me well. It's unfortunate because I will have to switch to a bear box in the Sierras, which I really am not looking forward to at all, but I'll deal with that when we get to that point, fingers crossed. And I will be using this Ursack for the majority of the trail as long as it's legal. Let's talk electronics. So I've got my Nightcore 10,000 milliamp battery here. This thing's pretty awesome. It weighs about 5 ounces and it can charge your iPhone about 4 times, and it's even charged my Canon 90D battery twice before, which is pretty impressive because that battery's huge if you all know anything about cameras. Then we move into this headlamp I've been using more. It's one I actually got from the military. It's a Pelican headlamp. It's just I think it uses AA battery, so it's lasting longer than my Energizer one. My Energizer one's super light and small, but I like this one. I could switch back and forth, who knows, but I'll have a headlamp. Then I have a bag of various cords, like just to charge my phone, charge my camera battery. I have this really cool mini battery plate for my Canon 90D if necessary. One reason why I do love the Canon 90D is because it stays charged for so long, so I don't really have to use a bunch of juice on charging the battery. This is more of an emergency thing. And then I have a extra GoPro battery in here, just miscellaneous things. One more piece to my electronics bag that I'll have is the Garmin InReach Mini 2. This thing gives my girlfriend and my family peace of mind. It gives me peace of mind too. I would hate to be out on a 110-mile stretch of the Sierras. Something happened, God forbid, and I don't have a way to contact help. So I will be bringing this, especially since I believe I'll be going this road solo. Oh, and also I keep everything in these Wise Owl stuff sacks. You can get them off Amazon. They come in a 5, 10, and 15 liter. I use the 5 liter for my electronics. I use the 10 liter for my sleeping system, the Zenvivi quilt, and I use the 15 liter for my clothes. Let's go through some clothing items. As you know, and you've seen me in basically every damn video I've made, my Sub Pop hat will be traveling with me. I got this from a colleague who lived in Washington back in the day. He knew I really liked Nirvana. He gifted me the Sub Pop hat, and honestly, you can see how sun bleached it is. But it's just gone so many miles with me now that I'm gonna keep it going, right? So I got some random pins on there, and I like this hat. It keeps me shaded from the sun. Can tuck my little thing in the back to keep my neck safe. So that will be coming with me. But of course, darn tough socks. I have a thicker pair here. They're like the crew cut, the mid-weight pair, if you will, and I've got a low cut, thinner pair here. I usually take 3 pairs of socks because I think they weigh like 2 ounces, and sometimes 3 pairs ends up being better than 2, and I'm not going to cut off 2 ounces because I didn't want to carry an extra pair of socks. I'll have 3 pairs of socks on me. Talk shit on me in the comments if you want. Have a little pair of Amazon gloves. These are super awesome in the morning when my hands get really, really cold and I'm tearing down camp. That's really the only time I use these, or if I'm sitting around at camp and it's a little bit colder. But most of the time, I don't really sit around at camp that much. I just go straight to sleep. So I'll be bringing these little gloves with me too. And they're really cool because I think they were like $5 and I can still navigate my phone through the fingertips. My Columbia Silver Ridge hiking shirt. I will probably have to get another one of these. This guy's starting to get pretty worn down where the pack straps are, but I really do love this shirt. I thought they were a little bit overhyped, but I started wearing one myself and realized how versatile they were. I can breathe so well in these things. I can stay protected from the sun, and I can unbutton them to kind of control my core temperature. And this has been a lot better of a purchase than I thought it would be, and it's a really comfortable material. I never really chafe in any of my clothing, so I don't know if it's the shirt or me, but I'll continue wearing this guy on trail. My classic Air Force PT shorts, I still stand by these things. Best hiking short in the game. They're super thin, They have like Velcro pockets and they never chafe. They're loose enough. They have, I don't wear underwear on the trail, by the way, so they have this little liner in there that makes it perfect to go commando and fly down the trail with no chafing worries. Never had an issue with these. Worn them pretty much as a day hiker, as a long distance hiker. I'll continue to wear them out. Some Nike Pro warm leggings. I really don't wear these as much as I thought I would. They're really, really nice and convenient for times that it does get a little bit chillier, but I really don't see myself wearing these unless I'm in the Sierras and it gets a little bit cooler. But I'm gonna bring them anyway because they are pretty light. They're a little bit on the heavier side for clothing, but it doesn't hurt to have them. Maybe I'll switch them in and out, but I will plan on carrying them most of the trail. So for this next piece of clothing, this is the Outdoor Research Echo hoodie. It's very thin. I got a darker color, like this is a dark navy, but I wore it through the entire Uinta Highline Trail, and I thought it was gonna soak in sun and be really, really hot, but it ended up being great. I wore the hood up, it keeps me protected from the sun at all times, and it's super, super thin and breathable, and it dries really, really fast. I will probably end up wearing this one instead of my bamboo hoodie that you all traditionally see me wear in the beginning of the Colorado Trail, like the light blue one. I love that one too. It's just a little bit thicker, no complaints there, but in the desert, I'm gonna wanna stay as cool as possible, and I think that this is just a superior choice. Let's break down my toiletries bag, or my Ditty Bag. I've done it, I made the switch. I use a bidet now. Look at this thing. It's tiny. It just hooks on a water bottle and you're good to go. I mean, I don't know how well this is gonna work out for me in the desert because water is gonna be super scarce and yada yada, but I switched to this thing when I did the Uinta Highline Trail and I don't miss toilet paper at all. I'm gonna tell you guys, this is so much better. A little bit different. If it's out of your comfort zone, hey, give it a shot. I'm telling you, you'll get over the fact that whatever you're thinking when you don't have to carry around an entire roll of toilet paper everywhere. Frankly, have to bury it and do all these things. This is just faster and more convenient. Frankly, just better. I'm still gonna carry a small amount of toilet paper just to pat dry, you know what I mean? I do have a little bit of lotion in here, just for, if I happen to be chafing or I get just a really, really dry spot that's bugging me. I honestly have only used this once or twice, but it doesn't weigh more than an ounce and I keep it with me just in case I need it. Here we got a little thing of hand sanitizer. This is for keeping my hands clean so I don't eat my food after, Got a little thing of toothpaste here, fluoride free. Yep, I'm a tinfoil hat kind of guy. Don't like fluoride in my toothpaste. I don't think you need it. So 1 ounce, love this, it's going with me. All right, this little foldable toothbrush thing. My girlfriend got a bunch of these from her dentist and I've been using them on trail and they just fold out and I have a handle. I don't even have to cut the handle off to be ultralight. I know, right? It's awesome. I can use this handle, brush my teeth, go on my way and fold it up. Voila. I carry around some floss picks. No, I don't throw them away on the trail. I keep them with me. Sometimes I even reuse them. Life's just dirtier on the trail, guys. I don't know what to tell you, all right? But I do keep these with me. I like to floss in case I'm eating some like beef jerky or something. Don't want cavities on the trail. Yes, if you've watched my previous video, I practice what I preach. I bring magnesium and creatine for how many days I'll be out. I'm gonna be taking magnesium and creatine the whole time on trail. I think it's a game changer, could be placebo, but I think there's more than enough scientific evidence to back up that this stuff helps you perform better, sleep better, think better, move better. I have a little Swiss Army knife guy. It's got a blade, it's got a thumbnail filer thing, it's got some scissors when I want to cut some Leuco tape. So it's been pretty useful actually when I'm on trail, because sometimes ripping Leuco tape doesn't exactly work super well. I keep that around my trekking pole and it's better to just cut it with that tool. Don't forget my little trowel that I'll have in my little pocket here, dig my cat holes. And then I do keep a little neck knife. I might take this thing with me, I might not. I don't know. It's not like it would actually protect me against an animal or anything, but you never know. It's been useful for other things, just for random things on trail. So it might go with me, it might not. One of those things up in the air. And lastly, I have my Snow Peak little spork guy. I don't know if I'm gonna cook on this trail or not. I probably will. I don't know. It's still up in the air. That's one of the 10% of items that I don't know if I'll actually use. But if I do, I'll bring this guy. Trekking poles. These are the Z-Packs trekking poles. I have some Leuco tape around the handle here. I use a lot of Leuco tape. I know I'll get use out of that. I've been using these. They're actually my little brother's, but I broke my, as you all know, my black diamond aluminum pole finally. I was just being an idiot and I was like banging on this little like sign to try and straighten it out, and it was really cold. Just flew off. I don't know what I was thinking. Metal, cold, stiff, gonna break off. But anyway, I might go back to aluminum. They're super durable and they're a little bit heavier than these, but I have a feeling that they'll be more reliable. Lastly, I have my Sawyer squeeze. I'll be using the Sawyer squeeze. I probably will get a new one. I haven't edited that video yet, but we ran into a absolute nightmare on the Timberline Trail with dust and dirt, and this filter's probably done for. I've restored it back a few times using this apple cider vinegar trick, but I'll probably get a new one, but I will stick with Sawyer squeeze. And then I will, to complement this, have the Knock 3-liter water bladder right here. I think this thing is amazing. I would never use the regular Sawyer squeeze packets. I just think they're not that great. This thing's easy to fill up, and I can tote extra water with me to camp in the desert, which I'm sure I'll have to do. So I'll be able to carry about 5 liters of water at any time, because I'll also have 2 1-liter smart bottles. For shoes, I will still be using the Lone Peaks. These are my Lone Peak 6s. Really liked them so far. They've got about 250 miles on them. Yeah, the Lone Peaks do wear down kind of fast, I'm not gonna lie, but they're so comfortable and they're so breathable and they dry fast. There's more added benefits to using them than not, so I'll probably go through a few pair of these, but that's okay. I'll start with this pair, wear them down to the bone, and then I'll switch to a new one. But I don't see myself really switching shoes on trail. Ultra Lone Peak series is perfect for me. All right, that's pretty much everything I plan on carrying on the PCT. I think the only items that I left out were my spikes, my ice axe that I'll bring, and my little hip pocket pouch thing that I keep on my Z-Packs ARC haul. Other than that, that's all. That's everything. And I will probably do a video on what food I plan on bringing and how I plan to eat on trail. For me, it's been the healthier I can keep it, relatively for trail food, the better I feel. So I'll give you all a breakdown of what that looks like. I will have links to all of the gear in the description. If there's anything you want to comment on, or if you have a better suggestion, please let me know. I'm always open to switching it up. This is what has just worked really well for me over the last 700 miles. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Let me know what you all think. I hope this was useful if you're looking at gear or trying to figure out something of this sort, and I will see you all on the next one.